Lisa!
Hello, Andrew.
We're back.
We are.
But just to confuse you, we swapped places.
Yes.
You're not looking at us in a mirror or something.
No. No.
But as we're recording this on the same day as the previous video, and on the same sofa and with the same camera angle,
Yes.
the only way we can tell them apart is to... It's like Ant and Dec, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, who sits on which side.
Yes.
But, so we're here with... The Sontaran Experiment Special Value Edition. Now, I've heard of a special edition, but what's a special value edition?
It just means it's only got 2 episodes. It's got hardly any extras on it, so it's cheap.
It's cheap.
It was about $7.99.
But that's the DVD, and it's shortly coming to Blu-ray, although the Blu-ray's got a little bit postponed, hasn't it, for one reason or another.
It's been pushed back a few weeks.
And they have certainly put some more bells and whistles on it for the DVD. But Sontaran Experiment, it is in some ways is a special value edition story, though, isn't it?
Because it's almost all over too quickly.
It's 2 episodes. It's a load of OB work in Devon.
Exmoor.
I have to think where it was. You see, Devon to me means Exeter and the Exospace conventions of the early.
It's a little bit further on.
Early 90s, and I've never made it into the moorland of Devon. You've got a reuse of the. I don't know whether it is a reuse or not of the Sontaran spaceship on location, and you've got a newly designed Sontaran mask for Kevin Lindsay,
which isn't quite as good as the original, but is done purely for the fact that he nearly died.
Well, it's so he can breathe, which is why it's got the big gash of a mouth and all that.
That's because he had heart trouble, didn't he? And he passed out when he was in Time Warrior. So
somebody said it's quite fun that he goes into his sort of into the rocks, and he's got this video phone thing, and he's talking to like his boss, and you can tell he's his boss because he's got 2 sticky out things on his on his.
It's like the sparkly ice warrior in Seeds of Death.
Yeah. But why do they need a video phone? Because they all look the same.
So they can tell if they're lying or not, I guess.
Oh right, okay, I see. Yeah. But in terms of, it's an ambitious thing to do actually, to take Doctor Who on location like that. I mean, our friend Paul loves filming on location. But it means you've got to take everything with you. And of course, if anything should happen to go wrong, you're a long way from the nearest sort of source of help, aren't you? As unfortunately they find out when Tom Baker has the fight scene.
Yes, it was before that, wasn't it? He had it. The fight scene is after.
I think it's they're doing the fight scene, and something goes wrong, and then they have to get him to the nearest hospital.
Yes.
And didn't Roger Murray Leach go with him or something?
I think so, yes.
Just to keep him company. Yeah. But because now let's get this round the right way, because Robot is 4A, so that's production code 4A, so that's filmed first. Sontaran Experiment is the very next one to be filmed, because Ark in Space is filmed after it.
Yes.
So there is that moment when everybody's thinking, blimey, do we actually need to recast the Doctor?
Yeah.
Because is the whole schedule going to fall down around us? You know, because if it had been more, I mean, a broken collarbone is pretty serious, it has to be said.
Yes.
But, let's not speculate too much, but
so
they might have gotten Fulton Mackay in after all, or Mr. Pastry or something.
But you can only imagine what would have happened had it been an older actor.
Well, but again,
how much longer it would have taken to heal.
It's written that the Doctor does the fight scene, and ironically, I think Toby and Rob say this. Toby Haydock and Rob Shearman say this in their book. If something goes wrong, that's what Harry's for anyway.
Yeah.
But all that Harry ends up doing is sneaking inside the
and getting
in the spaceship and nicking the thing.
Control unit,
But could you see Harry doing that fight scene?
Not really.
No, I don't know.
No, because I did read because somebody said on Twitter last night that if John Pertwee had stayed on another season, it might possibly have been Mike Yates that goes off.
But instead of Harry.
And I can kind of see Mike Yates I mean, not that John Pepper would have allowed anybody else to do the fighting,
Yeah.
because he did love to throw somebody over his shoulder.
IKEA!
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but, no, it's an interesting story, and as somebody else pointed out last night, and this isn't my idea, this is somebody else's idea, so I'm not going to take credit for it, but the fact that Sontaran Experiment is filmed on OB on video makes it look a bit like a fan production. Because it's a bit flat, isn't it?
I mean, you say about OB and film and stuff like that. You know, you and I can spot film and video a mile off, but it is that thing that you'd say to your mum, oh, that's shot on video and that's shot on film, and your mum wouldn't be able to tell, would it?
It looks the same.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
And I think even as a kid I knew the difference. I remember, because to me, video stuff it was obvious it looked a lot clearer.
Yes.
You know, and to me it felt realer. Because it felt you were there in the room with them.
It does look more documentary, you know, but it doesn't give you as much depth in the picture.
There is something, you know, distancing about film. I always used to think that you were aware it wasn't quite real if it was film. Whereas something like Blue Peter was shot on video, so you knew that was real and it was really happening. So when Doctor Who was on video, it felt as though it was more real. It's quite an interesting thing. You've got the little robot.
Yeah, bless
you
him. Little Smash robot.
The Smash robot. Well, you bet again. You're going to have to explain what the Smash robot was.
Well, so it wasn't even a robot.
Well, what was Smash?
Smash was.
Can you still get it?
Yes, it's hydrated potato. It's potato with all the water taken out of it.
Ironic, given that the Sontarans look like potatoes.
It is.
Yeah.
And basically what you do is you put water in it and it makes mashed potato. It's a sort of... I'm not even sure it saves you that much time, to be honest.
It was fairly horrible if it wasn't done right. Yeah.
And there used to be adverts in the 70s with these Martians, they were called, but they weren't. They were just sort of like little metal aliens, and they looked like the robot from Sontaran Experiment.
They had sort of round heads, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they peel them with their metal knives.
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, they will be on there. But yeah, I mean, in some ways a bit of a throwaway story, but again, it's the result of Ark in Space not being a six-parter.
No.
So get Bob and Dave in to do it and let them get on with it whilst Bob Holmes rewrites Genesis of the Daleks, really. Yeah. To which I think we should move now.
Yes.
And we have.
Yes.
Jenny, Sis of the Daleks. Doctor Who #1 story ever.
I'm surprised I left it on there. I normally put that.
As voted by Doctor Who magazine readers. Yeah, you say? I don't know that I'd have voted for it as #1. I know it is very good, but to me, it's the best of season 12.
Yeah.
But to me, there are stories in season 13 and 14 certainly that are better than Genesis of the Daleks.
Though having said that, it's now playing. It's doing its third run on Twitch at this very moment. And this shot is brilliant. It's Sarah being stalked through the wasteland by the Mutos, by Severin. Oh, it's suddenly gone on to film as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I will not knock it as a story. It's very good for what it does. The introduction of Davros, showing the birth of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't quite tie up with stuff that Terry Nation's previously written, but so what? Don't care about that.
No.
Michael Wisher being utterly brilliant.
Yes.
But then let's not forget Peter Miles.
Oh,
as
lovely Peter Miles.
Yeah.
With more hair than he had in Silurians.
Yeah. I think somebody asked him about that once at I think Leisure Hive, and he said. And that's due to hair pieces. Yes. So he wasn't shy about it.
No, he wasn't. No, he was quite. Yes, so he got away.
But a story that was sort of repeated more than any other classic Doctor Who.
And it's been available in more formats than any other, I think.
I didn't have the LP, but I did have the cassette, and I played it a lot after the cancellation because I didn't have much Doctor Who to play to myself. And Warren and I in the early 90s did a spoof version of it called Genesis of the Wogans, and the idea being that Terry Wogan was the equivalent of the Daleks, and if you touched your knee, which is what he used to do when he interviewed you, that was the end of you. And Davros was replaced by Grados, which was a parody of Michael Grade, who was involved in a ratings war with Thames, who were the other side.
Okay.
And I think Warren played the Doctor, and I played Sarah, except when I had a sore throat and couldn't do the voice. Our friend Darren played Harry, and I think I also played Grados as well. I'm not sure now.
Wasn't it Candice Tea Lady?
But we did a video version of this. That was years later.
Right,
this was just on a 5-part series on audio. I'm going to have to see if we can find any copies of it. The trouble is I've got nothing to play the tapes on now, even if I do find them. But because it was such a brilliant story, it was very easy to do a parody of it, because all the building blocks were there of a great story anyway, and you just change a few names and do some silly voices and some silly sound effects, and suddenly it becomes something else.
Yes.
But I've moaned about how Monster of Peladon, I can't tell what scene a particular story is from. I know Genesis so well that if you show me a scene, I can tell you exactly what part that scene comes from. But again, you've got sort of background people like Hilary Minster. We've said about him.
Hilary Minster.
And Guy Siner.
Yeah, not with a little tank.
Now, wasn't Guy Siner knocking around here a couple
he
of years
did
ago?
a pantomime a few years ago, and I was really hoping that he'd come in to where I work, and then I could ask him about his little tank.
I bet he's fed up with that. You should ask him about Davros. Total obliteration of the Thals.
I probably wouldn't even remember
He'd
that.
go,
what?
What are you talking about? But at least it was more original than asking about his little tank. Cause, again, he must get that all the time.
He probably
does.
Yeah.
But he's probably fine with it. But yeah, who else has got little parts in that? Stephen
Yardley. There's Severin the Muto.
Yeah. Dennis Chinnery.
Yeah. Tom Georgeson's in it.
Yeah.
Who's
the Time Lord at the start?
John Franklin Robbins.
Oh right.
Yeah. He's got a red nose.
It's
very cold.
Because it's cold.
And I'm trying to think of the other one is
what other one?
One of the first person who gets killed by the Dalek in it. The scientist.
Oh dear.
I can't remember his name now, but he's very
come back
good.
to you on that one.
Yeah. And also you got Harriet Philbin as well.
Oh yes, later to be in Blake 7. She's in. Is it Redemption?
Redemption.
Is one of the
actors.
The ladies in their whatever it is they're wearing. I'm not sure. But it's. I mean, it's in some ways, it's so good that it's a case of follow that, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can't.
I mean, yes, I'm very fond of Destiny of the Daleks, and again, let's not say too much about future stories.
No.
But
it's done a bit on the cheap, isn't it?
Well, and then you get, of course, Terry, Mr. Malloy coming. Back as Davros.
The lovely Terry Malloy.
In the 80s.
Who you won't get to see on Twitch because none of his stories have been shown.
Sorry Terry, they're not showing yours. So you're not...
If you want to see any of the 80s Dalek stories, you're going to have to look for them
check
elsewhere.
For a £1 or whatever it is. Yes. Or whatever you get.
Yes. He's a very nice man though. If you ever get the chance to meet him, he's a jolly nice man.
Yeah. But again, I had the book. I seem to remember having the book because I remember it was a red sort of surround on it. I remember having it in the car park at the old Woolco Centre on a Friday night. So whether I bought it in Woolco for like 60p or whatever it was, because you'd go to Woolco on a Friday night, which is when we did our shopping, and I'd always look to see if there was a new Doctor Who book. And I remember getting Genesis of the Daleks there with its little Woolco sticker on it.
It's exciting.
Yeah. But yeah, shown again. I mean, they did do a repeat soon after, I think, one Christmas. It was shown again as part of Doctor Who and the Monsters in 1982. Then it was chosen as the Tom Baker repeat in, 92, 93?
Yeah.
And then it was shown again, Must have been about year 2000, 1999, 2000,
Mm.
because they showed Spearhead from Space, Silurians, and then jumped to Genesis of the Daleks, because I think they were worried about viewing figures or something.
Yes.
It was like, you know, if they're not going to like this, they're not going to like anything.
Yes.
So that,
basically.
yeah. And, you know, showings on Super Channel, so, I mean, God knows how many times that some of those tapes have been played.
Yeah, quite a lot.
But it is just so solid a story, and the Daleks don't get to do much.
No.
But
They are terrifying
David
when they're
Maloney
here,
turns them into a force to be reckoned with again, which isn't always the case in the Pertwee story.
And also, I should say as well that obviously Davros in this, because you're really getting the Nazi symbolism now, aren't you, with the way they salute and the uniforms and everything. And Davros is obviously, at this stage, is the sort of Hitler figure.
Yeah, well, I remember Peter Miles says that if you look in early stuff that's recorded early, he's got a little iron cross.
Yeah, it disappeared, didn't it?
And then somebody's had a word with him and said maybe you shouldn't wear that. Take it off, and it just disappeared.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is Doctor Who taking it itself seriously.
And it's dark. It's very dark.
And this will just be built upon in the next few seasons, I think. That's the thing.
In fact, it gets darker. The stories tend to get darker and darker until Mrs. Mary Whitehouse
has a word or several words.
And the darkness is
toned down.
And it's made, as you said, more fairy tale.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And Graham Williams comes in.
Yeah. But all this is to come. So.
Yes. And before we go, I should just show you my T-shirt.
Get your Tom out. Push your Tom out. There he is, smiling.
Yes, grinning.
Yes. Okay. We'll see you soon then.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.